Okay. It looks like it's already time for the session to start, and looks like a couple of people have already joined. We'll just start, and then hopefully more people will participate. So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. I know it's really late in the day, and you've probably attended a bunch of other sessions already, and are are starting to feel the whole screen fatigue kind of thing. So, yeah, it means a lot to me that you're here. So, real quick, we'll just keep this super chatty. Just feel free to post your questions as and when you'd like to, and I'm going to take them up at the end of the session. And I've also, if you'll see in the chat, I've posted links to a few articles that I've written and that might be helpful resources for you, related to the topic that I'll be talking about. So feel free to check them out. Okay, so about me, my name is Deya. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a writer of B2B content and literary fiction. I'm originally from Kolkata in India, but last year I moved to the Bay Area in California, and now I kind of divide my time between the Bay Area and India. I started writing regularly on Medium last year, and it has been such an amazing journey for me as a creator, and as a creator who is neurodivergent, and coming to terms with that neurodivergence and seeing how it fits into her broader life as a creator. And I am so honored that I get to share my journey and my learnings with you today in this session. So I started exploring the creator lifestyle sometime last year. At that point, I was already doing freelance work, so I was already kind of going solo. And I saw that people were making a living, often a very substantial living, out of creating content and posting it online, getting followers, all of that stuff across various platforms. And I was looking for an extra source of income because in this economy we can all do with some extra income. And creating content, it felt like, yeah, this is something I can do. So of course, I started out by first reading, what my predecessors had done. I mean, what other creators had already been doing, what had been making them successful. I checked out their journeys. I studied the content that they were putting out, the kind of topics that they were talking about, and and the kind of advice that they were in turn giving to new creators who might want to follow in their footsteps. And the thing that stood out to me very clearly was that while the advice was, objectively good and useful, it wasn't really attuned to real needs. Now, what do I mean by real needs? I actually mean a couple of things. So one of that is daily needs. If you read most creator advice, it's like, block off 8 hours in the day, just, get into the flow, do deep work, all of that, all of that thing. But if you'll find that, I mean, you don't need me to tell you this, that life at the best of times is unpredictable. You could get an unexpected call at work. Maybe, your building does a fire drill. My building has been doing way too many weird fire drills at odd times nowadays. You could have a child or a pet who's feeling unwell. Maybe one of your appliances is broken down and someone needs to come in and fix it like ASAP. Just the small daily niggles of life that, everyone usually is experiencing in one way or the other. And, maybe to some extent you can either avoid them or, put them off or just get help with them. But it's not always realistic, is what I'm saying. It's not always realistic for us to just block off several hours in the day and just expect zero interruptions every time and just do our creator thing, And two, which is really going to be the main focus of my talk today, is mental health needs. If you have ever had or you're currently dealing with depression, anxiety, ADHD, bipolar, stress, or you're just generally going through a rough patch, you know better than I do that you can't just put your head down and do the work under those circumstances. You just can't. It's often physically impossible. If you're having a downward swing, if you're having an anxiety attack, if you're caught up in shock or fear or guilt or anger, it's just unrealistic to expect that you can just sit down and just create and post and upload and share and engage for hours at this every day at the same pace, no matter what. And me personally, I have ADHD. I've had depression for several years now. Last year I went through a particularly bad episode, and I was actually diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder for reasons we won't go into in this talk. And I have just really not been able to keep up the kind of schedule that most creators would recommend that you do. 15 Medium articles a month, LinkedIn posts every day. It just has not worked for me. And anyway, that really got me thinking, how does one build a sustainable creator lifestyle that honors these various needs while also enabling you to build an identity and a body of work that you are proud of? So, based on my own experiences and my experiments, I've actually developed a 5 part framework to help you out with this. And the first part to this is there's more than one definition of consistency. All right, let's talk about consistency. It's a word that everyone uses. Consistency is key, need to show up every day, blah, 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 all of that. Most creator articles that you will read, the one thing that they all have in common is they tell you, be consistent. Okay, fine. But when it comes to the part about, how to be consistent, at that point, you just mostly hear things like, just do it, just get up, just wake up at 5 a.m. every day, just drink the green smoothie every day, just lift weights every day, whatever it is. And that might be factually correct, but it's not always helpful, So a useful way to look at consistency is, which I found, is to acknowledge that consistency looks different for different people. Maybe for some people, consistency is writing 5 articles a week, but for you, that might be 2 articles a week, or even 1 article a week. But as long as you're showing up to write those 2 articles or that 1 article every week, that's consistency. That's something you're consistently doing. And I've posted a link in the Q&A section to a piece I wrote on this specific aspect of consistency. Should be up top. Not sure why it's not showing up, but anyway, it's there. But the crux of the thing that I want to tell you right now is, think about what your natural patterns are. And by natural patterns, I mean over the course of the last year, or say the last 5 years, or however long it is that you've been writing, creating, whatever. What are some creative trends that you have seen in yourself? How many articles or posts or videos or whatever your preferred form of content is, how many of those can you sustainably do in a week on average? That's part one. Part two is, how much you have been doing. Now, can you commit to that consciously every week? So if you feel like 1 article a week is comfortable for you, we've thought about it, you've seen your patterns, and you know that's something you can do. Now, can you commit to that and do that without fail? And that is your starting point. And that's where you can really start thinking about your creator journey. And it's fine to dial it up later if you want, once you get more comfortable with it. But the point is, you need to start from a place that you're comfortable with and that you can follow through without falling off, which is what like most creators who don't make it, they just keep falling off because they start at a pace that's unsustainable for them. So you don't want that. The second part in this framework is be conscious about the how-to content that you are consuming. Now, every creator reads creator content. That's just a fact. I mean, we all do. Even if we don't seek it out, it'll pop up on our feed somehow. Someone's going to share it with us. It happens. And like I said, these articles are fine, but most of them are just potentially not designed for neurodivergent people or people with mental health needs. That might make it harder for them to follow those practices exactly. These articles just don't take those people into account. And for instance, I suffer from executive dysfunction, and I haven't actually read a single productivity article that talks about how to overcome executive dysfunction, which is something I experience on a daily basis. So I will say that it's probably not, I mean, you don't have to necessarily stop consuming this kind of content altogether. And like I said, it's going to be hard to do that. But whenever you read these things or you watch these videos, just remind yourself that whatever they're saying you need to do, if you plan to implement it, you'll have to factor in your executive dysfunction or your fatigue or your stress or whatever it is that you're going through. So making any given lifestyle change isn't just going to be a matter of following steps for you. There will be extra hurdles that you need to jump through, and you have to keep that perspective in mind. It's like a reality check for yourself, and it'll help you feel better about maybe not being able to exactly replicate whatever they're saying. And at the same time, and I want to point out this is important, don't go the other extreme and read like anti-creator content. I mean, you have all kinds of pieces, and the comment section, people say, creatorhood is a scam, it sucks, it just get a job, it's not going to work, this, that. But that's not useful, because you're here today because you want to be a creator. You want to create, you want to share your insights, and it doesn't matter what mental health struggles you're going through, that's what you want to do. So you encounter any of that stuff, just step away, step back. Don't give yourself unnecessary trouble. Part three, Design systems around your natural rhythms. And this is related to the first point about finding your definition of consistency. But this is broader. This is about creating a structure for your day that allows you to create at the times that work best for you, and also includes elements that help you to rest and recover and take care of the other parts of the day. And I'm going to talk about the most obvious aspect of that, which is sleep. We all know a good night's sleep is important. That's fine, but you might actually just need more than just 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Me personally, I need at least 1 hour of sleep every afternoon. And yeah, I just like you, I have read all those articles about how too much sleep in the afternoon is bad. You should take power naps, you should beat the afternoon slump, all of that. And believe me, I tried. I was fighting it for a very long time. But then every day, no matter what I did, whether I drank coffee, whether I went for a walk or whatever, I kept feeling my body shutting down at around the same time every day, between 1 and 1:30, sometime after lunch, every single day, no matter what I did. And then I thought, maybe my body's actually trying to tell me something. Maybe my sleepiness isn't some weakness to overcome, but maybe it's something that I actually need. And then later I went online and I learned that people with ADHD actually do need more sleep than neurotypical people. It's something about the brain and how it works. It just gets fatigued more quickly. So we actually do need that extra sleep. So, anyway, sleep's just one part of it. It could be sleeping patterns, could be eating patterns, whatever. My suggestion to you is think about what your body really wants, even if it goes against conventional lifestyle wisdom. So, do you maybe feel better having more snacks throughout the day, for instance, rather than just, your regular breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Do you maybe not like certain food items, even if, they're allegedly, good for you? Do you prefer working at certain times of the day? What is it, when is it that you are naturally most creative? Maybe some people are going to say being a night owl is bad, but maybe do you work better at night? Do you maybe feel like exercising in the evening rather than in the morning? Whatever it is that naturally sets you up for a good mental state, just lean into that. Make things easy for yourself. And this is not to say that you should not aim for healthier practices or a fitter lifestyle. But look, you're already dealing with mental health challenges, and that's a big load of its own. The act of creating and sharing content, that is also a huge load. I mean, creating is hard. You're already taking so much on yourself. So my advice is, don't add further stress by forcing yourself into some routine just because some influencer or some very rich person said that's what they do. And you know I've tried those things and it takes a toll. If my routine stresses me out, it comes out in some other way later. So, I get tired more easily. I get crankier, or something happens. So go easy on yourself to begin with. And then when you feel comfortable, you can always adjust or upgrade. All right. So the fourth part is, be prepared to, you have your systems, but be prepared to bend them. And again, this is something I took a while to get used to, because I used to equate this with being disorganized or, being inconsistent. But you know what? The harsh truth is that mental health needs aren't always predictable. You cannot put a timer or a schedule on depressive episodes or anxiety attacks or severe executive dysfunction. I mean, sure, I wish I could schedule all of my executive dysfunction moments for when I'm on, I don't know, when I'm on my downtime or something. But no, it doesn't happen. It happens in the middle of the day. Something critical is going to happen. Something critical, I have to submit a deadline or something like that. That's just how it works. And then when it happens, it can derail whatever routine that you might have set up for yourself. And you just gonna need to become okay with that. And to clarify, I'm not gonna say that just ditch the systems and do whatever you like. I mean, I tried that too, just going completely ad hoc, and that did not work for me either. But the best approach overall that I've found is to have an overarching system, one that's, like I said in the previous step, you've looked at your natural rhythms, you've realized what you like and what you're naturally attuned to. So build a system around that, build rules around that, and then follow it as diligently as you can, as far as possible. Every single day, wake up with the intention of following those systems. Now, if a mental health challenge does come up, okay, that's fine. Don't fight it. Take care of yourself, whatever you have to do, all of that. But then once you've taken care of yourself and you're feeling better, go right back to that system. Then wake up the next day and go right back to it. Give yourself that chance. And the way I see it is having that clear system and that clear structure acts like a kind of anchor for you to come back to. And certainly for me, over time, the knowledge that I always have a routine to come back to, I have systems to come back to, makes me feel more secure about my identity as a creator. I don't have to feel like I am at the mercy of my mental health episodes. I mean, I see them as part of my life, sure, but just as a part of my life, that I also have a very that the creating is a big part of my life, and I can always come back to it. That has to feel more secure. And yeah, I mean, I really recommend you give that a try. Just it's gonna lead to a big positive mental shift for you. I thoroughly recommend it. And finally, the last part in the 5-step framework is give yourself permission to play. Now, you know you see there are successful creators of all kinds, in all kinds of fields and industries across all kinds of platforms. And one thing I have seen, I mean, we can love or hate different creators, but successful creators aren't successful necessarily because they are the best writer or the best video editor or the best whatever. They're successful because they're telling one very specific story obsessively. And if you want to make it as a creator, if any of us wants to make it as a creator, we need to find that one story within us. What is that one thing that you care so passionately about that you could talk about it all day, every day, no matter what? And if you're thinking about it now, and you don't have an answer, you're drawing a blank, that's okay, that's fine. Most of us don't immediately know what we were born to do on this, all of that stuff. It took me some time to find mine. And the way I found it is by giving myself permission to play, to explore things. And this is going to go against the grain of a lot of creator advice. Everyone's going to tell you, okay, you know what, niche down, hone your skills, focus on one thing. But here's the thing: when you're new to this, and this is the advantage of being new, I mean, obviously, creator life is hard, it's a grind, all of that. But the one big advantage that us newbies have is that no one is really watching what you're doing. You're not being held accountable to any big standards. The arena is yours. I mean, you can try things out, you can backtrack, you can make mistakes, you can do whatever you want as often as you like. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, earlier I used to be super conscious about this. I'd be like, oh my God, what if I wasn't able to do that? People saw, oh my God, they're going to laugh at me. Seriously, no one will, no one cares. And just that mental shift has, I mean, over the last year, I've tried out so many things that did not work. I mean, I tried to start running a Substack about hiking. I tried Instagramming about my travel. I tried writing motivational content on LinkedIn. And on Medium alone, I tried so many niches, productivity, fitness, travel, the expat life, writing advice. And it's through that process of allowing myself to explore as much as I wanted, I realized that the thing that I cared about was designing a life that allowed me to balance productivity with mental health needs, and designing that life for myself and helping other people design theirs. And that's what I mean, that's something I am passionate about. That's something I do every day. That is something I am experimenting with and thinking about every single day. I could talk about it all day long. That's my story. And that really is the key to any creator life. You can't just pick up a topic because it's fashionable or because everyone's talking about it. And sure, if you use any of those whatever trending hashtags, I mean, they keep changing every week or whatever, but if you use one of them, sure, you might get some initial traction. But eventually you are going to feel burnt out. Eventually the flow of content will stop. And that's because the mind can only fake it so far. If you're not being true to what you want, it's only going to take you up to a certain point. So if you feel like a certain topic or niche that you've been writing about or creating about is not working out, step back. It's totally fine. You need to be honest with yourself. And here's the thing: once you start creating honest content, believe me, you'll find that the creative process is just so much easier. It's just it's like when I came to this realization, so timelines, I started writing seriously on Medium sometime in August of last year, and I came to this realization sometime around March of this year, and it was really like a switch flipped off in my head. Suddenly ideas were coming to me so much more easily, and the articles were also getting structured so much more easily. Earlier it was a lot more of a struggle. I would wonder what to write on a daily basis. And that obviously that's been great for my my statistics and my views and all of that. But I feel so much happier and more content as a creator. And that's really what we all want, don't we? To be happy in this, in the joy of creating, in the joy of sharing our story. And, by honoring your own needs first, by honoring your true story first, that's possible for all of us. I mean, I can't say when you're gonna take off and become viral or start earning money, like crazy amounts of money and all that, but I can promise that if you take this option of giving yourself the permission to play and explore, you will be happy. And, happiness is worth, sounds cliche, but happiness is worth any amount of money any day. So, yeah, that's about it for my talk. I would love to take some questions now about my processes, anything that you have. I'm having some trouble seeing this. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm gonna just quickly exit and then come back in a couple of seconds. Just please bear with me. I think this my laptop is just glitching weirdly, because I can't see whether anybody has posted anything. So just give me a second. I'll be right back. Sorry, device is